Let's talk about
PlayStation.
welcome back to the lab. First, I want to quickly say thank you for over 600 subscribers. I don't know who's letting me ruin their lives, but you are all in scholars. So, with that being said, let's get right into today's first topic, and that's whatever. Let's go. Rumor has it we are getting a September state of play from PlayStation, of course, and the game that will be highlighted there is none other than, you guessed it, Wolverine. First, I just want to start off by saying if this is in fact true, no sock will be safe. ISPs will crash around the nation. Wolverine will reign supreme, and PlayStation will, of course, be king. Yes, I'm saying it. If you pay attention to the screen, you can see some of the footage from the leaks we received about a year ago. Although it's not perfect, I've seen games released that looked worse than this. So I guess what I'm saying is, God damn, I love it. The game was announced in 2021. That means we had 4 years for Insomniac to make this the greatest Wolverine game ever, which there isn't a lot of competition. This is a modern AAA game, and they've already proven themselves with Spider-Man. Maybe we'll get a release date. I'm expecting 2026 or 2027. I want to see a lot of stealth from Wolverine, a lot of Wolverine sniffing around and figuring out where he may need to go. Wolverine fighting tons and tons of enemies.
Let's
I want to
go,
see
bub.
destruction. I want to see carnage. I just want Wolverine to be Wolverine. And
Berserker
if they do
Barrage!
that, if they allow Wolverine to be the best at what he does, the game will sell like hotcakes. If Disney didn't learn anything else, they know that we as consumers want the characters to be the characters. Hopefully, there was a mandate or a contract that was signed when the rights were given to Insomniac, aka Sony, so they would know that and have guidelines to follow. But I'm just ranting. Let's move
Rookie.
on to our next topic. Sony is reportedly releasing a new digital edition console in Europe. This news comes from a leaker by the name of Bill Kuhn. The new PS5 Slim Digital will reduce storage from 1 terabyte to 825 gigabytes and remain the same price, 499 euros. I'm sure you're thinking, why should you care if you're in another country? Well, Sony is by far the leader in the premium console space, and without any competition, we've created a monster. The PS5 price increased by 50 or so dollars in the US, so hold on to your butt cheeks. Sony can blame the tariffs and do whatever they want price wise. Never thought I'd see the day a console would appreciate. Next topic. 007 First Light. So we were able to catch a more detailed glimpse of the game, and it serves as an origin story for James Bond. It will release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC March 27, 2026. Now that all of that is out of the way, the most important question is, did it feel like James Bond 007, the active agent from MI6? I would say yes, it did. Of course, I haven't played the game, but just watching this, looking at it as a cinematic experience, I felt like I was 007. I felt like espionage was my game and I was the master. I I think they did a good job. Of course, at times it looks like they were showing this game to us on the Nintendo Switch, But of course, they have time to work on it. It doesn't come out until 2026. I think that's just a small problem, and I believe they'll fix that. The bigger problem was grasping what makes 007 007. And everyone knows James Bond and how cool he is, the swag. And somehow the charisma from James Bond was able to permeate through the screen into my being. And I felt risified. I'm not going to lie. I felt like this could be a game that made me want to be an agent. Unlike Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Silent, I like those games, but it was something about this game that took it to another level for me. I know we have Nathan Drake. That's a pretty good example of a similar game, but this game for me spoke to me. And I believe it's just because it was 007 and it was actually done correctly. I would love for more details to be put into the face. I feel like the most detailed person in this entire showcase was the bartender. I felt like he had the most detail in his face. If you go back and watch the entire trailer, he looks like he's been through some things. He looks like the bills are due on the 8th and it's now the 12th. This guy has problems and it shows. To me, it looks like they put more time into the bartender than anyone else. And I'm okay with that because you have to get drunk somewhere. And when you get drunk, you want to see somebody who's worse off than you. Then we get to the airfield scene. And just in 007 fashion, he finds his way in. He's going through the forest and he drops into a tunnel or a pipe and he gets to work. He's cooking and he can't be stopped. It all looks like it's moving well. The feel is right. You get the license to kill. It pops up on the screen. And before you know it, you're in the movies again. And I loved every bit of it. Man, it was amazing. I can't really say other than the fidelity, the graphics, anything I hated about this whole scene, the explosions, 007 taking out the bad guys. You know this guy never misses unless he wants to. And then he's shooting the barrels, they're exploding. He's shooting the cars, they're exploding. You see the airplane in the background and you're making your way there. You're clearing out the enemies, throwing your weapons at their faces, knocking them out, and everything is where it needs to be. I am thankful for the developers. They captured what it is to be 007 or what 007 means to me. I think capturing what it feels like to be 007 and the gameplay are the most important aspects of making a successful 007 game. And if you can do that, everything else will fall into place. And they did just that. So kudos to them. I'm rambling. I decided to just try something different instead of just going, with the facts and hardcore articles. I wanted to just give my feelings on, the things that PlayStation gave us this week. So shout out PlayStation. Aside from the increase in price of the PS5, you're doing a good job. If we can get those prices back down, I know tariffs are everywhere, but at the same time, hey, you made a lot of money. If you give back to the community, you'll come out better in the end. That is it for me. Tell me down in the comments, do you believe the state of play will show us Wolverine? How did you like the new 007 game? And do you think the prices will continue to increase on the PS5? And will we get that new model here? Leave it all down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and ninja kick that notification bell. But more importantly, remember, keep moving forward and game on.